Now in its 9th season, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, celebrating junior bowling and elevating junior bowlers. Today, episode 189, the 2025 Kansas City Open April Point Tournament. 5 players have qualified for the TV finals, but only one can leave as the Division I champion. Here are the 5 finalists. Qualifying 5th is Eli Clinklin. He was the runner-up when we were here in February. He'll meet the 4th qualifier, Rhett Ryman, one of our 3 reigning Players of the Year. The winner will face the 3 seed Damian Burns, who bowled 300 on his 16th birthday in February when we were here. That winner will challenge the 2 seed Caden White. He won when we were here in February. And the winner of that match will bowl for the title against Tyler Haig. He bowled his first 300 today and is the tournament leader. One of these 5 young athletes will emerge as the Division I champion and will sign the coveted trophy pin. It's all going down today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. We welcome you once again to Leavenworth, Kansas and Crown Lanes, where today we'll be bringing you the Division I championship round from the 2025 KCO April Point Tournament. Each month, the KCO holds competitions in 5 average-based divisions, and we endeavor to bring you the championship finals in 2 of those divisions. On our last episode, we brought you the Division IV stepladder finals, and today we're focusing in on Division I. A total of 23 contestants entered qualifying in Division I today. It took an average of 229.5 to make the top 5 and qualify for the show. Here's how the qualifying round went down. Of course, you know who made the top 5. There's Landon Ziegenhurt, who found the winner's circle in March. He finished 9th. Tanner Haig, Tyler's brother, is in 12th. There's Andrew Coleman in 17th. Caleb Conroe in 19th. And the rest of our Division I field. A couple of noteworthy scores in qualifying. In his 3rd game this morning, Tyler Haig started with the front 10, needing just 2 more strikes to polish off his first ever 300. And then he needed just 1 more strike for a perfect game. So congratulations to Tyler Haig. Then in his 4th game of qualifying, Damian Burns, who just threw a 300 when we were here at Crown Lanes in February, had started with the front 9 when Prodigy cameras caught up with him. There's the front 10. And now Damian Burns has got to be thinking, this is deja vu all over again. When he rolled that 300 in February, it was on his 16th birthday. Now he needed just 2 more strikes to duplicate the feat. Interestingly, right there in the foreground in the lower right portion of your screen, you see Tyler Haig looking on. Oh, no. He would finish with a 289. Amazing how a big game like that can leapfrog you past a whole bunch of players and into the top 5. But now it's time to get you down to the lanes for our opening match today. In the 5th position is Eli Clinklin. He's been knocking on the door lately. He and his adult partner Nolan Nash finished 4th at the March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament, and Eli finished 2nd here in Leavenworth back in February. He's bowling against the 4 seed, Rhett Ryman. Rhett has been conspicuously absent from the winner's circle so far this season at the KCO. Today marks his best chance since qualifying 3rd and finishing 4th in Lawrence back in November. Rhett had the option. He wants to finish 1st, so he is going to let Eli start.
And Eli puts one right in the pocket to start. That'll get Rhett's attention real quick. Take another look at Eli's opening toss. This is about as good as you can do it. Right over the fourth arrow, out to about 7. And see ya pins. And now Rhett Ryman, one of our 3 reigning co-players of the year, has not won yet this season. Comes in a little thin with his opening toss and leaves the 2-5-7. One of the baby split combinations we see occasionally. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the left side of the 2-pin. The ball will deflect into the 7. The 2 will get the 5. If everything goes according to Hoyle. That is how you make the 2-5-7 right there. Good shot. So both players off and running with a mark. Here's another look at that shot by Rhett. Perfectly done. Now he'll move over to the left lane and see if he can't get his first strike of the match. There you go. Rhett Ryman, 17 years old. Eli Clinklin, 17 years old. He will have another year of eligibility next season, as will Rhett if he chooses to exercise it. Well, Eli got that one a little wide. It got out into the dry a little soon and came hooking back. So through the nose, leaves the 3-pin. Should be an easy spare. No doubt about it. Eli bowled his first 300 game in this very house 2 months ago in qualifying. And you saw the last shots here on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. We had a couple of 300s that day. Won by another one of our contestants today, Damian Burns. Eli sends that one past the head pin. Maybe a slight adjustment following the ball through the nose, but that adjustment did not work. And he leaves the 1-2-8. Just let the ball cross over to the Brooklyn side. Should be no problem. Oh, he goes with a backup. Problem. Well, now, not sure I like that tactic on that particular spare. There are some really good opportunities to use a backup ball. I'm not sure the 1-2-8 is really the best time to pull that one out of your bag of tricks, but I'm sure he's practiced it. Just didn't work out that time. All right, Rhett, with a strike working, can extend his lead. And does. Take another look at this one. Rhett, a 4-step approach. He's a planter, not a slider. Sends that one out to about 9. And it comes roaring back. The bowlers to our right on lanes 17 and 18. That is Division 2. We'll recap their stepladder at the end of the show today. Oh, and that one just hits fractionally high, but Rhett sees the 2-pin go flying around the 4 and 7 for the hit we call the fast 8. Easy spare. He shouldn't have any problem at all with this. Takes the scenic route, throws the big hook at it, but covers the 4-7. Now Eli Klinkland, when we were here in February and he shot that 300 game, he qualified second and finished second to Caden White that afternoon. Threw a lot of shots like that. He also had a good tournament at our last outing, the March Adult Youth Doubles event, where he qualified fourth and finished fourth with his adult partner and one of the 3 reigning players of the year, Nolan Nash, although they ran into a buzzsaw in the stepladder finals. All right, Eli working on a strike. Oh my goodness. That one just jumped at the end. That did not look like it was that high. But he nearly leaves the 4-9. Fortunately, the 9 goes out late. And he's left with a simple spare, the 4-pin. And once again, he's got that straight ball release that he uses for his spares. Sometimes he'll back it up just a little bit, like he did when he was attempting to cover the 1-2-8 a few moments ago. But now Rhett Ryman with a 22-pin lead. This young man wants to be an electrical engineer when he grows up. He has bowled 4 300 games, one of them on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Boom! And to go along with those 300s, he also has a 797 to his credit. That's his high series. Although he lists as his best moment in bowling when he won state. That should give you some idea of just what a big deal high school bowling is in the state of Kansas. I mean, Rhett Ryman, one of the more decorated players we have in this area. He's won a slew of tournaments, but the one he values most is when he won state. Oh my goodness, breaking sharply at the end. He's lucky he didn't leave a wide open split that time. But Rhett will have just the 6-10. He'll move over to the extreme left side of the approach, go cross lane at the spare. No problemo. But now Eli needs to get to work. Through 5 frames, he has just 2 strikes. Wow. He moved a little left, but it looks like he threw it a little further to the right, and that doesn't usually work. When you move left with your feet, you usually need to move left with your eyes as well. Keep that ball more toward the center of the lane. Keep it away from that dry portion of the lane to the right of the oil line. Covers the spare. Eli lists Andrew Anderson as his favorite Pro Bowler. You can't do it much more smoothly than Andrew Anderson does. Oh, it looked like he moved in a little further that time. And it worked out just right for Eli. Watch it again. He's going to actually pass a little left of the fourth arrow. That's at about 22. It gets all the way out to about 8. Hits the light pocket, sends everything over to the 7. And down they go. But he's going to need to string a few if he wants to catch a Rhett. Rhett tries the same shot, but his pin action doesn't quite find the 7 pin. But I tell you what, he's leaving himself pretty easy spares. The only one that was a bit of a challenge was the one in the first frame when he had the 257. Although if you're going to leave a baby split, that's the one to leave. It's about the easiest one for a right-hander. Covers the spare. Rhett started bowling at the age of 7, was in a league by the time he was 10. He got started bowling because his family took him bowling one day. He fell in love with it. Hear that a lot. Young players first get exposed to the sport and it grabs them right from the start. And when you got that love for the sport, usually the talent will follow. Here's Rhett's footwork. You see he plants with the last step. That ball over about 19 at the arrows, out to about 9 at the break point, and snaps out the 10. There, that's what Eli's looking for. Let's take another look at Eli Klinkland's solid game. When he gets to the bottom of the swing, that ball is either right under his head or a little to the left of that. Very close to his ankle, hand below the equator of the ball, and he lifts straight up and through it. That's how it's done. He checks all the positions. Well, he wasn't sure about that one. He was begging it to stay right. And it did. Watch this. Watch him gesture. As soon as he lets it go, he's like, oh, that's trouble. Nope, nope. Keep it right. And he trips the 4-7, and he loved it. All of a sudden, we've got a match, just 2 pins separating these two players, but Rhett has a strike working. And he extends his lead to 12, heading into the 10th frame. Boy, this was a pressure shot. If he doesn't strike here, Eli could get up and take the match. But now Rhett needs strike 9 spare to shut out Eli. Oh man, he gave it the big loft, trying to delay the hook, but instead, sometimes what happens when you loft it like that is you catch the finger holes on the upswing, put a little more juice on the ball. I think that might have happened here. But he gets away with it. It goes Brooklyn, and now he's in position to win the match. He needs 9 and a spare. Or, of course, a strike would do the job as well. But 8 leaves the door open. He will need to make this to lock himself into at least a tie. But if he tries to make the 4-9 and misses it, he'll leave the door open for Eli to win the match in the 10th frame. I think you got to try for it here. But he whiffs both pins, so now Eli Clinklin has been given a reprieve. He needs 2 strikes and 9 on the fill ball to win the match. But he must strike on the first 2 balls. Oh, no. Eli can't believe he threw that through the nose. But it's Rhett Ryman who takes match 1. This girl on the right that you're watching, that's Avery Bourne. Avery Bourne recently became the youngest girl to ever shoot 300 in the state of Missouri. It was on the news. Big deal. Eli with an open in the 10th. Didn't really matter. That failure to strike on the first ball in the 10th did him in, and now it's Rhett Ryman who's moving on to face our 3 seed Damian Burns next. In a match that looked like Rhett Ryman was in full control for much of the match, suddenly it was in doubt when he failed to slam the door shut on Eli Clinklin. But then, just when Eli saw an opportunity to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, his plans to pull off the upset were vanquished when he left that split in the 10th frame. So, a match that, in the end, could have gone either way, fell decisively Rhett's way. And now Rhett Ryman moves on to match 2. His next opponent is our number 3 qualifier, Damian Burns. Damian is making just his 2nd appearance as a participant in the stepladder finals on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Although 2 months ago, he and Eli Clinklin were both seen in the qualifying round bowling a 300 game when we were last here at Crown Lanes. And of course, today, Damian had the front 10 en route to a 289 in qualifying. So clearly, he finds the lanes here to his liking. But he's facing one of our 3 reigning players of the year in Rhett Ryman, who has the added incentive of being away from the winner's circle for quite some time. So I would look for Rhett to be super motivated. But don't sleep on this Damian Burns guy. Obviously, he's capable of uncorking some big numbers. So this ought to be a fascinating match. Damian Burns has spent the entire season in Division II until he got rated up to Division I at the March Point Tournament. Goes high. And now he's got a tricky little spare, the 3-6-9. Several different ways you can miss this, but you want to put the ball right on the 3 and 6. Have the ball drive through and take out that 9 pin in the back. Well, that's not the way you do it. You gotta hit the one in front to make any spare, but he whiffs that one, and that's 7 out to start, and I have to call that an inauspicious start. And not what I would expect from Damian Burns, who actually has a pretty complete game. Hopefully we'll see it on display before this match is out. And now Rhett Ryman with an opportunity to pounce early. But now he comes up thin and leaves a very similar spare to the 3-6-9, the 2-5-8. Same sort of configuration, just a little farther left on the lane. But easy to chop. He'll try to put that ball right on the 2 and 5. And let the ball drive through and carry out a sleeper 8. Oh man, it didn't drive through, but the 2 pin went to the left wall, came back and got the 8, so a very fortunate break for Rhett Ryman, and he takes a 13 pin lead. But that'll leave your nerves a little frazzled. Well, Rhett's had some pretty good finishes this year in pursuit of that first win of the season. As he goes through the nose, leaves the 6-7-10. Rhett finished 6th at the March Point tournament. Finished 2nd at the December Adult Youth Doubles, 4th in November, 7th in October, 10th in September. So he's finished in the top 10 every time he's bowled this season at the KCO, but no wins. And he opens in the second frame. So Damian Burns takes the lead sitting on the bench, and really not having done much to earn it yet. Yikes. Right through the heart. And Damian leaves the 4-6-7-9. This is actually makeable. By having the 10 fall out, he doesn't have the Greek church. You can make this by sliding the 4 over into the 9 and have the pin bounce off into the 6. But he's going the other way. He's not going to make it this way. This is definitely makeable, but you got to shoot it like a 4-9. So, 4 frames bowled thus far and 3 opens. This is not what I expected out of these two. That's more like what I expected out of these two. Damian plants that one. It's worth a second look. Look at this guy's game. Strong boy. That one gets out to about 10, and I think that's probably about as far right as you want the ball to get. If it gets any farther right than that, you're flirting with the driest part of the lane, and the ball's liable to come charging back. Keep that ball inside the oil line. All right, Rhett up on the right. Well, he threw it extra hard to try to hold the line, but it doesn't quite make it back. The 2, 4, 5, 8, we call it the bucket, or the dinner bucket. Either way, it'll make you throw food up against the wall if you see it enough times. Put the ball on the 2-5. Ooh. Well, that's the risk you run, throwing from the right side, chopping the 2 off the 5. And that's back-to-back opens for Rhett. So despite Damian starting with back-to-back opens of his own, we have an even match through 3 frames. But that's the beauty of match play. It doesn't matter how high you score. It only matters if you can get one more pin than your opponent. Oh my goodness. Well, he moved farther left to try to compensate for the hooking conditions, but it just slid by the pocket. He caught a piece of the head pin. Thought he might leave another bucket, but no. He gets a wall shot, but it doesn't do the job. And now he's got the 5-7. Well, makes a good run at it, but that is 3 opens in a row. A rarity when you watch Rhett Ryman bowl. That does not happen. Not very often, anyway. So Damian Burns now with a golden opportunity. A strike up, leading by 11, can extend to 21. Oh! But Damian visits Stone 8 land. That's like a punch to the breadbasket, man. Can't throw it any better than that, but takes the 5 right off the 8, and I guess the only redeeming factor about this is that it's an easy spare. He'll just move his feet about a board or 2 to the right of where he was standing for that strike ball and throw it again. And he nearly ran by it, but that's a spare. And an 11-pin lead for Damian Burns. I think it's time we see these two settle down. But no, Damian crosses over, gets away with it, but you know, you make strikes like this. The ball crosses left of the head pin. And you might think that some people would go to the bench feeling pretty good about it, but no, not really. Because the ball didn't go where you wanted it to, and so you're questioning yourself. You're wondering, where do I have to move? What do I have to do different to get that thing to react the way I want it to? There you go. Rhett's figured something out. That was a good ball, too. Watch this ball. It hits the half pocket. It's not really high flush, but it will drive through, and watch the 5-pin whistle over into the 7. Man, they were flying every which way. Actually, I think something got it before the 5 could get to it. In any case, it was a strike. Now Rhett Ryman can strike here in the 6th frame, close this match down to 1 pin. But instead, he goes through the nose. Man, that could have been just about anything. He had the 6, 9, 10. I think the 7 was up for an instant. And now he's just got the 6, so fortune's smiling on Rhett. as he has an easy spare to shoot. And he covers it, as expected. But now Damian Burns with a chance to run away and hide. He has an 11-pin lead and a strike up. He can extend to 21 with a strike here in the 6th. There you go. That's what he's looking for. That was big. Let's see it again. There's the ball under his head or a little left of it. That's just what you want. And way below the equator, at the very bottom of the ball. Passing the ankle, just missing it by a few inches. Ideal positions. Told you, this kid's got a solid game. Oh man, he sent that one way wide. Take another look at that shot and see just how wide it was. He's going to hit the 3rd arrow. That's way right of where he's aiming. That ball is out around the 7th board at the 28 or 29 foot mark. The tracers you see there in red and the feet they are from the foul line. When you hit out there, I mean, the lane is only 60 feet to the head pin. You're at about 28, 29 feet there. You got half the lane for that ball to hook. What do you think's going to happen? It's going to go left of the head pin. You got to keep that ball left of the oil line. Yeah, Rhett couldn't do it either. That ball must not get past the 10th board to the right of the 10th board at any point on its journey down to the pins. If it does, it's going to end up left of the head pin. If you put any axis rotation on it at all, especially a strong ball like what Rhett's throwing. He covers the 6-9-10 with ease. That's good. But Rhett needs strikes, not spares right now, as Damian Burns has a turkey up. And honestly, Rhett just looks confused. Got to be wondering what he's thinking right now. What should I try next? Oh, he tries the big loft, and it almost worked. Look at this. Look how far down the lane that ball was airborne. He lofted that thing to about the 14-foot mark. The arrows are at 15 feet. That's a lot of loft. And if not for a messenger, he might have carried that one, but gets a spare. Now you got to wonder if he's going to try that again. That almost worked. But boy, oh boy, you really don't want to have to loft it that much. It can put some wear and tear on your shoulder for one thing. All right, Damian. Strike's working. Oh my goodness. He goes high and collapses the 4-7-9. Talk about a break. Watch this. Well, the fact that this ball only got out to about 11 or 12 may be what saved him. Because there's still some oil in there. If it had gone a little farther right, it might have hooked higher. Anyway, that's another strike. And he's finding all kinds of ways to put X's up on the score sheet. Watch this. It's a repertoire of strikes. That's the 3-pin coming back across to get the 4. Well, when I bowled people like that, I used to say, I can't beat you and God both. Rhett with the big loft again. But he's fighting from so far behind. He's 55 pins in arrears. I just don't know that there's enough frames left for him to catch. Damien, look at that thing. He got it all the way to the arrows that time. Wow. Takes some strength to do that. And look at this. Another strike in the 10th frame. That was left of the 4th arrow. So it didn't quite get to the pocket, but the messenger delivered the strike this time. But I'm afraid Rhett knows that even if he strikes in the 11th and 12th, it's not going to end well for him this match. He can finish with 180. Damien is sitting at 175 right now if he doesn't throw another ball. It's the wall shot that does the damage, taking out the 5 and 7. One more strike for 180. And he crosses over to get it. Yeah, he knows it just wasn't in the cards. Damien just needs to keep the ball on the lane, and he'll be moving on to match 3. And oh, by the way, stay behind the foul line. That's a winner. So Damien Burns will be taking his game to match 3 to face our number 2 qualifier, Caden White. Throws it over the 4th arrow. That ball only gets out to about 12. And you see how it's set nicely in the pocket. Keep that ball left of 10 at all times. Oh man, that didn't get out to 10 and it still went through the nose. Leaves the Greek church. It doesn't matter what he does with this. He's already got this game banked. But he'll have a little fun with it. Looks like he's going to go for the 3 on the right and just take the count. Or go through the middle of it and get a field goal. But no, Damien, we're not giving you 3 points for that. It's a win, and Damien Burns has it in his pocket. He's going to face Caden White next. Well, to be honest, neither player really got off to a good start in that last match. Damian Burns started with a pair of opens. Then Rhett Ryman suffered 3 open frames in a row, starting in frame 2. And just as Rhett stopped the bleeding, Damian started a 6-bagger and never looked back. Rhett finally found a way to the pocket when he started lofting the front 15 feet of the lane. But even if he had caught Damian, it's doubtful that tactic would have held up. So Rhett can just chalk this one up as one of those days, while Damian Burns now gets to move on to match 3. He got past one of our 3 reigning players of the year in Rhett Ryman, and now Damian's job doesn't get any easier, as his next opponent, Caden White, is another one of our 3 reigning players of the year. Caden would like to become the first player in Division I to win a second time this season. As of now, we've held 7 tournaments and crowned 7 different champions. Caden White was one of them when he took the title here at Crown Lanes in February. Caden has also won here at Crown Lanes 2 previous times, so he's got to be feeling pretty confident. But Damian Burns looks like he's locked in on the TV pair. So let's just point these 2 fellas at the pins and may the best young man win. Caden had the option. He has elected to let Damian lead off. And Damian looks like he is zeroed in. Powerful strike to start. Man, that one was planted. Watch this. Over the 4th arrow, out to about 9. The ball finishes behind the 8 pin. No deflection. All right, Caden White. Comes in a little wide. Leaves the 2-4-5. Caden has lived in the stepladder finals this year. He's made the stepladder almost every tournament. He finished 2nd, 1st, 8th. He missed the stepladder there. And then finished 5th, 3rd, and here he is, qualified 2nd. He's had himself quite a season. Going with the backup and chops the 2 off the 4. That's what that backup ball is supposed to prevent. But an open to begin. We don't see Caden do that very often. He's 18, so he's in his final year of eligibility with us. That ball just didn't quite have enough stuff at the end and just kind of hit flat. Leaves the weak 10. Caden, one of the 3 reigning players of the year on Prodigy, along with Nolan Nash and Rhett Ryman. And honestly, this year, Player of the Year is kind of wide open, since we haven't had anybody win a second time. Caden is one of those who has won this year, but nobody has managed to win a second title this season. Big strike by Damian Burns. So Caden obviously would love to overcome this slow start and go on to win today. That would certainly give him the inside track to Player of the Year if he can become the only 2-time winner on the season. We've only got next month the May Point Tournament in St. Joseph and then the KCO Invitational left to decide it. Oh my goodness, crossing over. He gets a strike in the 3rd. Sure look a lot different than the strikes in the first and second. Let's see if we can pick out why. On the left, the strike in the first. On the right, the strike in the third. Look where his foot is. In the first frame, he was on 36. In the third frame, he was on 35, just one board difference. And then at the arrows, you got about a board difference, a little farther to the right in the third frame than in the first. And then about a board difference at the tracers. But then the ball enters right in the pocket in the first frame and Brooklyn in the third. That's how touchy these lanes are. And so Caden says, I'm not even messing with any of that. I'm just going to go in here light and see if they'll mix. And they did. I don't know if that was a conscious decision, but he's playing pretty much the same area, but got a little different result that time. You know, honestly, bowling to a large degree is just a leap of faith. Every time you throw the ball. Can't throw it any better than that, although he was way left with that one, more in the oil. You'll pick it up right here. Watch where the ball crosses the arrows. About 23, and only gets out to about 12 at the break point. Staying left of 10, I think, is the key. If you can do that, you might have a chance. Oh, man, that was a good ball. That's the shot that denied Damien the 11th strike when he shot 289 in qualifying today. He threw the first ball in the 10th, perfect strike. And then the 11th left a ringing 10, thank you very much. He would go on to convert it for 289, and here he is in match 3 trying to get to the championship match. Oh, but he hooks past the 10. That had to be just a mental mistake. You won't see him miss many of those. So his lead is down to just 8 pins, with Caden working on a double. So things could change in a hurry. Once again, the bowlers to our right, that's Division II. That's Avery Bourne right there, that young phenom. We'll tell you how their stepladder played out when we get to the end of the show. Damien bouncing back from that open with a strike in the 5th. Here's his footwork, a little obscured by the scoring apparatus there at the beginning, but he's a planter, throws it over about 19 at the arrows, gets it out to about 11. Once again, the key, stay left of 10. Caden. Wow. That was a heat-seeking missile, or a bowling pin-seeking missile anyway. Watch this. He actually got this one a little bit right of 10 at the break point, but he started so far to the left. It didn't get right of 10 until much farther down the lane, and that's really the key. It's not so much how wide you get it, it's where it gets that wide. How far down the lane does it find the friction? And he's figured it out. By playing that far to the left, he can play a little farther left at the arrows and still get that ball out to the friction. He threw that one over about 21, out to about 9, and kicks out that 10 pin like a boss. And now he's got 4 in a row, and Damien, trailing by 12, needs to put a double up on the board right now to get back in it. And he does. Well, well. Now just 2 pins separating these two, and we've got us a match. I like this guy's game. He's only been on Prodigy once before, I believe. But at 16 years of age, looks like we're going to get to watch him for another year or two. He may be one of the top players we have after guys like Caden and Rhett age out. Ooh. Let up on the speed a little bit that time, felt like to me. So the ball hooks high, and now he's left the 3-pin. Easy spare. Could have been worse. And he covers the spare with no problem. But now it's a question of whether or not Caden White is going to run away and hide. He leads by 3, has a double up. Boom. Watch how this ball tracks down the lane. How far left it is all the way down the lane. It doesn't get outside of 10 until it's about 42 feet down the lane. At the end of the tracers, it finally gets to about 9. That's how you take advantage of this kind of condition. Wow. He just locked in now. He's going to be tough to beat. Here's a side-by-side of these two young men. Damian on the right, Caden on the left. Synced up at release. Very similar ball speed. And very similar result. All right, Damian up in the 8th. Pulled it. Yep. You saw him look down to the foul line. He knew that was not his best. As soon as it was off his hand. Sometimes when your opponent is just piling on strikes, it wears on you mentally and you just let up. And as soon as you do, baby, it's over. Look out. Threw a spare ball out there to the edge, and I was like, what is this? It's a spare, that's what it is. A nervous one, but a spare nonetheless. Well, Damian with a possible 235. And Caden going at a 239 pace, so it's not over yet. Boy, Damian needed that one. Got away with a high hit, caved them all in. Watch this, another one of these. I don't know how he did that, strikes. But a strike nonetheless. Caden just needs a mark somewhere. That's a mark somewhere. And I guess it doesn't quite mathematically end it, but we're pretty close. Here it is again. Caden always in good balance. This is a game you could copy. If only it were that easy. Whoops. High with that one, but guess what? He just needed a few pins to put this match away. And Caden White has won match 3. Damian Burns had a nice run today. He's going to finish 3rd. And as I always say, that is not nothing. That will put Caden in the 240s. .248 with a strike here on the fill ball. That'll do. That'll win most matches. It'll win this one. And the 7 is just going to wiggle and smile. That is a 247. Nice game. The best Damian can do is 235 with 3 strikes here in the 10th. And might as well get them. Sure, the pressure's off. That was a good one. We'll take another look at it. This is the definition of high flush. This ball is going to hit right in that spot in the pocket where there's only one thing that can happen. They all go down. And another one pretty much like it. So that puts him in the 230s, assuming good count here. Get used to watching this guy. You're going to be seeing a lot of him next season. He has steadily improved this year. As I mentioned, he was in Division II throughout much of the season, but just kept improving, and now he's in Division I, and look out for this guy. But right now, look out for Caden White. He's in a familiar position, bowling for a title once again, this time against Tyler Haig. Who will come away the winner? We'll find out next. It was a well-bowled match in which Damian Burns got 9 strikes and Caden White got only 7. But Caden's 7 strikes all came in a row, which basically spelled the difference in the match. Usually you bowl a 235 like Damian did, and you can reasonably expect to be in the hunt till the very end. But on this occasion, Caden locked him out before he even marked in the 10th. Such is the peculiar nature of bowling's scoring system. But Damian can leave feeling good about his performance today. And with him just turning 16 in February, I have a feeling we'll be watching Damian Burns for the next couple of years. But today, it's Caden White who now finds himself in a familiar position, bowling in the championship match. This time his opponent is Tyler Haig. You met Tyler's brother Tanner Haig on last year's Prodigy TOC. He was the one on the receiving end of Nolan Nash's 300 game on Prodigy. And Tyler Haig bowled his first 300 game today in qualifying. So we've got 2 players here who are capable of stringing strikes. So strap in. This ought to be a good one. Tyler Haig has elected to finish first. So he's going to let Caden White start things off here on the left lane. Oh my. Well now, right through the nose, he had the 4 up. That would have been a little more makeable than this, but it's the granddaddy of them all, the 7-10 split. See if he can bounce one out. Well, you got to hit one to bounce it out. So that is 8 out to start, and Well, that's not what Caden had in mind. So now, Tyler Haig, first time on Prodigy. And look at this. He's not intimidated one bit. Now, you saw his brother, Tanner Haig, on the 2024 Prodigy TOC. I actually gave the two of them a lesson a while back. In fact, full disclosure, I've actually coached both of these players here in the match. Tyler and Caden. They're both good, I'll tell you. Oh my! Well, when you're good and a little lucky, that's a potent combination. Look at this, right through the nose. The 2-pin's going to come back and get the 4 and the 9. The 2-pin doing double duty. Thank you very much. All right, Caden. Snap to attention. Oh man, he almost paralyzed the 5-pin and left it standing. But there's a strike, so he'll feel a little better now. I tell you what, this guy has had such a good season. You only see him bowl in the KCO on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. But every time I look up on Facebook, he's gone to another weekend tournament somewhere and won it. He won in St. Louis a couple of weeks ago. He was down in Oklahoma City recently. Won one there. He just is relentless. But he comes up thin on that one, leaves the bucket. He has 6, count them, 6 300 games and an 817 for his high series. I always ask these kids, how many tournaments have you won? He says 21. Oh my. What's going on here, Caden? That one got away from him. And that's an unforced error there. And I tell you what, Tyler Haig, you're never going to have a better chance against this guy than right now. But he breaks up the split, had the 4-7-9 standing. So a little good fortune. And now take care of the spares. Don't let any easy ones get away from you. Covers it. And Tyler Haig has a 33-pin lead in the 3rd frame against Caden White. He couldn't have asked for a better scenario. This young man also plays soccer, which is a huge sport here in the Kansas City area. Goes through the nose. Says he wants to be a counselor when he grows up. And says his best moment in bowling was his first Heart of America win, Heart of America Youth Classic, another tournament series similar to the KCO. They don't hold quite as many tournaments a year as the KCO, but they're very well attended. They bowl on a sports shot and are held over 2 days. So it's an interesting format, kind of a hybrid. Wants to be kind of like a PBA regional, but not quite. There's a good solid strike for Caden. He hasn't had any problem on the right lane so far in this match. It's the left lane that's bedeviled him. Now, if he can get that left lane back, he's going to be a handful. There you go. Take another look. Such good balance. Everything in position. I'll tell you what, Tyler is just on a mission, it looks like. I have not seen him bowl quite like this before. I tell you what, I think that 300 today in qualifying may have done something to his psyche. Now he starts to believe. He's also playing the lanes deeper than we've seen anybody. He's playing the fifth arrow. Well, well. Watch it again. Right over the fifth arrow, out to about 10. Might be the path to success. All right, Caden. Well, if there's one thing we know about Caden White, we know he will not give up. He's like the tide. He just keeps coming in. There isn't an ounce of give up in this kid. Tyler's lead is 21. Caden can cut it to 11 with a strike here. But he drifts high with that toss and leaves the 6-10. And loses a couple of pins in count. Well, Caden says he wants to be either a PBA pro or a physical therapist, or maybe both. Uh-oh. There's another unforced error, and it's unusual to see one from Caden. To see two unforced errors in a single match is almost unheard of, especially in the championship match. And Tyler says, well, that's okay, I'll take that. Like finding somebody's change they dropped on the ground. You pick it up, put it in your pocket. Tyler with the ball right under his head or a little left of that, close to his ankle, hand on the bottom of the ball. This is ideal. He's in good balance. You don't see him falling off to one side. It's the way you draw it up. He fell off a little bit to the right that time, but not until after the ball was off his hand. And that's another solid strike, and Tyler Haig is on fire. Let's take a look at three of his shots in this game to see just how similar they are in the second, sixth, and eighth frames. Here are his strike balls. They're pretty similar. Just how similar are they? Well, we can tell when we stack them on top of one another in our exclusive 3-deep look. Now you'll really be able to tell how much variance there is from shot to shot. Pretty similar up to the foul line. Played a little different line, I think, in the second frame before the lanes had transitioned a bit more, but pretty repeatable, pretty similar. All right, Caden with a strike. Boy, he's trailing by 55 late in the match. Caden with a possible 212. Tyler going at a 237 pace. So Caden's got to hope for a little misstep by Tyler along the way. Solid strike there, but not sure he's got enough frames left to catch him. He will keep firing, though. That's what Caden does. He won't give up. He's moved a little farther left as well. Well, Tyler got that one a little wide, and you see what happens. It gets out there to the drier part of the lane, starts hooking early, but with a 42-pin lead in the 9th frame, I don't think Tyler's too worried. He covers the spare, and I believe he can put this away with just a few pins on his first ball in the 10th. He did his damage with that 4-bagger in the middle part of the match, as Caden has 3 opens. I'm not sure I've ever seen Caden with 3 opens in a game, but that's going to do it. Tyler Haig has won the Kansas City Open April Point Tournament in Division 1. Doesn't matter. That open in the 10th means nothing. He finishes with a 221. It's going to be more than enough. The best Caden can get is 212. There's the first one in the 10th. Well, just how good a season has Caden had? He started in September, finished 3rd. Then in November, he finished 5th. At the December Adult Youth Doubles Tournament, he finished 8th. He won in February here at Crown Lanes. And then in March at the Point Tournament, he finished 2nd. And he's going to finish 2nd again. So he's got the 1 win and 2 seconds. And 2 more step ladders. A spare to finish, and we go another month without a 2-time winner on Prodigy this season. Instead, another first-time winner. It's Tyler Haig of Olathe, Kansas. We'll visit with him next. You know, if you're going to beat a player like Caden White, who is no stranger to the winner's circle, you've pretty much got to follow the blueprint that Tyler Haig just laid down. Take whatever opening he gives you, and believe me, Caden doesn't always give them freely, but he did this time with that 7-10 in the first frame. And then just keep the pressure on and keep pouring gas on the fire. Because the one thing you can count on from Caden White is there is no give up in that kid. He will keep firing. But Tyler Haig bowled an almost flawless game right up until he pretty much had it in the bag. So the streak continues, as none of our champions on Prodigy so far this season has been able to win a 2nd title, which has left the race for Player of the Year wide open. But you can bet that Tyler Haig isn't thinking about that right now. He's thinking about what a phenomenal day it's been for him on the bowling lanes. He got his first ever 300 game in qualifying, and now this, a KCO title, and securing his spot in the 2025 Prodigy TOC this June. So let's get you down to the lanes to meet this likable young man and get him to sign the coveted trophy pin. Well, the streak continues. We still don't have a 2-time winner this season on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, but we have another first-time winner, and his name is Tyler Haig. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, here's the big question. What ranks higher on your list of accomplishments? Winning the KCO today
or bowling your first 300 in the qualifying round?
I would have to go with my first 300 because that was the very first one I've ever had, and it was in front of a bunch of people, and it was super stressful.
But you did it. What did you do to make it happen?
I tried to zone out everyone else around me and tried to focus on my next shot and my own bowling.
What's the most strikes in a row you'd had en route to a possible 300?
Well, one time I had 18, but I didn't get a 300. But before that,
But I mean in one game, you started with the front.
11.
Oh, so you had a 290 something.
I've had two 299s.
Two 299s?
Yes.
Oh, what'd you leave?
I left a 4 and a 6.
Okay, well, the 6 was kind of marginal. The 4 was a good shot.
Yes.
And today, solid in the hole. Love it.
Yes.
We actually, I think we have video of the last 2 strikes.
Yes.
Somebody shot that, and I think I got it airdropped to my iPhone today.
That's amazing.
So we'll have it on the show. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So you beat a really good bowler in Caden. And how'd you do it?
I tried to focus on myself and again tried to zone out everyone else and especially zone out my own score and just focus on the next shot and getting another strike.
Well, you did a great job. And now you get to put your name on the coveted trophy pin, which is your ticket into the Prodigy Tournament of Champions. Your brother bowled in it last year, made the show, and now you'll have the chance this year.
It's amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Haig, one of the 2 Haig boys that bowls with us at Olathe Lanes East, and now he's a champion at the KCO. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
As I mentioned earlier in the show, the bowlers in our periphery to the right on lanes 17 and 18 were the Division II group, and here's how their stepladder played out. In the opening match, the number 4 qualifier, Avery Bourne, who recently became the youngest girl in history at 12 years of age to bowl a sanctioned 300 game in the state of Missouri, defeated the 5th qualifier, Dylan Hunt, 212 to 188. Then in match 2, Avery kept her momentum going, defeating the 3 seed, Jet Cosby, 196 to 151. But then in the 3rd match, it was the number 2 qualifier, Nathaniel Green, who put an end to Avery Bourne's afternoon, 184 to 169. And in the championship match, it was the tournament leader, Grant Spooner, who turned away Nathaniel Green, 184 to 173, to claim the Division II championship. On our last episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, we showed you the championship finals in Division IV, where Jonathan Cooper won 3 matches en route to claiming the title. And we told you about how Logan Crosswhite and Josiah Starr went to a 9th and 10th frame roll-off in Division III, where both of them threw strikes on all 4 balls, but because Logan was getting 1 more pin of handicap, he took the title. And over in Division V, we told you about young Michael Morgan, who bounced back from a rough showing in the stepladder at the March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament and won the final 2 matches today to grab first place here in Leavenworth. And of course, you saw the Division I championship round today, where Tyler Haig capped off a fantastic day on the lanes, bowling his first ever perfect game during qualifying and polishing everything off with a first place finish. So congratulations to all 5 of our winners today at the 2025 KCO April Point Tournament. There are only 2 Kansas City Open events left on the 2024-25 calendar. On May 4th, we're at Revolutions Lanes and Fun Center in St. Joseph, Missouri, for the KCO May Point Tournament, where 1 year ago in Division I, after thinking he'd lost a roll-off for the 5th stepladder position, Tashawn Clark was handed a gift by his opponent and then made the most of it, running the stepladder to win. Then, on June 1st, we're back at Olathe Lanes East in Olathe, Kansas, for the KCO's biggest tournament of the year, the KCO Invitational. Last year, Nolan Nash made it back-to-back wins, but Rhett Ryman stole the show, throwing just the third natural 300 game ever shot on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Perfection! Then, after that, on June 22nd, we return to Olathe Lanes East for the season-ending Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. All KCO champions from the 2024-25 season are eligible to enter, with scholarship prizes available to the handicap and scratch division winners, and where someone will win the prize they've all been aiming for all season, the coveted trophy pin. For more information on the Kansas City Open, visit their website at www.kansascityopen.com. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to subscribe to the channel and receive notifications whenever we post new content to the channel. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below. All we ask is that you not leave a spoiler giving away the ending. All these things help us grow the channel by working the YouTube algorithm. Also, be sure to share the video with your bowling friends and family. Let's spread the word about Prodigy Bowlers Tour and the KCO. If you'd like to help support the creative work that goes into producing Prodigy Bowlers Tour, please become a Prodigy patron. For just $5 a month, you'll gain early access to all our full-length episodes of the show. And for $10 a month, you'll not only get that early access, but you'll also get your name in the show's closing credits as an executive producer, just like they do in Hollywood. Visit www.patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour and follow the prompts to become a patron. Also, you know there's a Prodigy Facebook group, right? There you can keep up with everything Prodigy related. From any page on Facebook, type into the search bar Prodigy Bowlers Tour and hit enter. That'll take you to a page where you can submit a request to join the group. Be sure to answer the 3 screening questions and your request to join will be approved. If you ignore the screening questions and don't answer them, your request may be declined. We'll just assume it came from a spam bot. So pay attention and answer the screening questions. Well, that's a wrap for episode 189. Our next episode, 190, the Division III stepladder finals from St. Joe, will come on May 17th. Until then, this is Coach Randy reminding you to keep kicking out the corner pins, not the foul lights and ball returns. And I'll talk to you next time on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.